On the 1st of May 1984, an A-4 Skyhawk from the Israeli Sky Force had its right wing torn off. However, the pilot was able to reach a nearby airbase and land safely. The airplane was subsequently repaired and would see further combat action. This was the information my chief researcher gave to me. And at the moment, I don't have any idea what he was talking about. Hi everyone, it's Fistball, and today we're going to be talking about the military and not the military spending budget, but how it's being weakened as the United States spending budget gets lower. Now, this is our national budget. See that Medicare and Social Security individually as separate pieces of a whole, not put together, but as separate parts, mind you, both Social Security. So obviously that's a bit much. The United States military gets around 16%. Well, I believe, I don't have the graph right in front of me. That Medicare and Social Security get around 25%. That is huge. If you don't like numbers, we're going to be telling you a lot about numbers and crunching them. And Medicare on its own make more money than our military funding here in the United States. The United States military gets around 16%. That Medicare and Social Security get around 25%. That is huge. If you don't like numbers, we're going to be telling you a lot about numbers and crunching them together. Okay, so the United States has around 1,430,000 active personnel. So 1,430,000 individual people who at a moment's notice will be able to take up machine guns and fight against any country. And around 818,000 in the reserve. So they've been trained, they just wouldn't be able to do that. Now if you want to talk about machinery, we have around 8,325 tanks. We have 75 submarines, 19 aircraft carriers, and around 13,000 aircraft units. 13,000 aircraft units. This is more than any other major military, including Russia, China, the UK, or Canada. Don't know why I added Canada, but you get the idea. So obviously, this seems kind of weird. Well, why would the US military need any more money? Here's what you're forgetting. You're forgetting about all the money that has to go into repairing these ships, repairing the aircraft carriers, repairing everything. And why is this, this money, this huge military important? Because America is right now the only true federative republic on Earth that has the rights that we do, okay? And you can look at we've just had a very socialist president, and so the thing is, how do I say it? No matter what, you're always going to have the JFK-Reagan balance, as I would like to say it. At one point, you'll have a very Democrat president, and then you'll get a huge Republican. So, JFK, huge Democrat, and then 20 years later, we got Republican. So it balances it out eventually. With this presidential race, it's very, very important because we have so many Republicans and so many Democrats. And if we get a Republican, well, it might even itself out, but if we have a Democrat, we have a Democrat. Now, the biggest thing that these military budget cuts hurt is the Air Force. The military and all these other places are actually able to scavenge old parts and use them for different, there are two types of trucks, but they're both manufactured by the same company, so like a broken engine in one truck can be fixed by a broken truck that has a good engine. This cannot happen with the Air Force. Most of their planes or helicopters are actually built by separate companies. So it doesn't add up, ever. And that's a huge problem. America is a force to be reckoned with, and we always have to be. We have to be that top-of-the-line country with the most nukes, with the biggest army, Because then, when someone like the Soviet Union comes in, when someone like Russia wants to come in and say, hey, we want to fight you, we need to be right there with our guns in hand and say, yeah, not going to happen today, sir. America, as a nation, needs to be the protector of the world. And if we really want to be a first world country, if we want to make the laws of the world, if we want to protect republicanism, our first and foremost thing that we must do is have a strong military so that we can fight against external threats, which is huge. Many people are saying that we should build walls on both sides of America to try to keep everyone out and go to isolationism. And that is insanity, okay? My own uncle said that, and that is truly insanity. If America isn't going to do what America has done in the past, then who's going to do it? Do you want all of Western civilization to fall? Are you insane? We as the United States of America have a huge responsibility. And we need to be able to protect our ideals and our values, okay? We need to have more nukes than anyone else, because that means that we have more power than anyone else. Because what happens if we don't have more nukes? What happens if we don't have more power? That means that our enemies like Russia, like China, like everyone else, is going to be able to boss us around. Tell us, oh, you can't say this about our leaders. Oh, you can't say this about our government. You need to shut up because we now own you. Here in the United States of America, we have such a responsibility, okay, that if we do not protect every other Western nation, then the West falls, okay? Whether France falls to terrorism, Germany falls to Islam, okay? Whether Poland falls to a tyrannical government, we as the United States must protect republicanism. We must protect our ideals and our values. We must protect Christendom and all of the West, whether it be its culture, its music, or its ideals. Because I'm telling you right now, if we do not do that, you're going to see Russia, you're going to see China, you're going to see every other country take over the United States. And let me also remind you, that was not through crazy riots out in the streets that communism was ended. It was ended by America not only forcing Russia to compete, but then to deplete all of its economic supplies. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Ronald Reagan, one of our greatest presidents, at least in my opinion, basically a system unlike anything ever seen. See, in the Cold War, we were constantly trying to make laws so that we would be able to limit our weapons and our nuclear power with Russia. So, like, hey, we won't make this many, and you won't make this many. However, Ronald Reagan said, no, we're not going to do that, and then boosted the economy. So we started making more tanks, more bombs, more all of this stuff. And so Russia was forced to compete so they could still be a superpower. But they weren't able to because, to quote Margaret Thatcher, an amazing British politician, the problem with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money. And that's exactly what happened to Russia. And that's how communism fell in Europe. However, that was because America even had the chance of being a superpower. That's because America had a big enough military to oppose the USSR. Remember that. Next time anyone asks you, says to you, oh yeah, we need to get rid of our military supply. The only reason the Western world is alive, the only reason we are surviving right now is because America has the largest army on Earth. Anyways, that's it. I'm the Piss Pole, and I hope you enjoyed.